Alrighty then, it's good to be back. And today I have a duel video for you. Which one? And it's a Gragas and Dr. Mundo game. Let's do. First one up is Gragas. And the first thing I gotta point out is that new walk Gragas has. It's so funny. I love it. It's like such a pimp daddy walk. Instead, of just trotting regularly like a normal person, he waddles left and right, just stomping his big fat feet. He knows. He knows he's a pimp daddy, and he's got to show it to you. Gotta love it. Anyways, my jungle opponent is Nidalee, so you can expect her to try to be all controlly, all fast, all over the map. So I try to go real quickly as a clear. I go for the Scoto Crab, and it's going really poorly. And Nidalee shows up, but she fails to steal it. And I get level 3. Body slam her, deal a lot of damage to her, and she dies. Best of all, she loses her flash. And she just barely died, which means I get to steal her camps. This is catastrophically terrible for the Nidalee. Plus, I get to sap some experiences that Urgot told me to help him push. Get my Froggo, then mid lane dies, so I get to take some lane in mid lane CS. This is accelerating me to level 6. And a Gragas hitting level 6 real quickly is super awesome. Anyways, my bottom lane is besieged by the Nidalee, and she doesn't really accomplish very much, and they don't have a ward here, so I get to hide in these bushes. Oh, poor Sona. She's just so annoyingly getting close to me. And a flash body slam and an ult after, and she dies. Though I do have to give credit to her, because her going through the bushes instead of going closer to Caitlyn keeps the Caitlyn safe. Some people might have run towards her tower, but she was going to die anyways. So instead of running towards Caitlyn, which might have exposed her to some AoE damage or potentially putting her in a position where the Ashe would do a lot more damage or potentially kill her, she just throws, make sure she dies somewhere else. That's pretty good. Anyways, this next scene is a little bit frustrating just because of as an onlooker. The Nidalee throws a Q at me, just sort of trying to flex on me, being all cute, but just, body slam her, throw an ult on her, and then she's in a position just to die. It's like, I'm Gragas. I can literally teleport my fat close to you. And it just got herself killed just so she could be like, yo, dude, I see you there, man. I see you. Nope. She died. And I, got to succeed on that. Anyways, now I let Nidalee take that red buff because it's no use putting myself in danger of getting killed close to a Nidalee and a Diana. So I just, go for a clear. Now this next little gank here is super awkward. Mostly because Diana is not really in a position to be ganked all that well, but she did use her spells, and I know she doesn't have anything else. So going on her, she tries her best to survive, but I have my ultimate, knock her back, and it still takes a while. And she tried really hard to, try to get a vengeful kill here, but nah. Nidalee comes in, throws her Q on me, pounces, does a lot of damage, but unfortunately for her, the Zed did not go home yet, so she eats a lot of damage and dies. It's so tilting. You just gotta imagine the enemy team is so mad. In fact, you can notice a few times where the Nidalee and the Diana just stand still. I surmise that they're probably just typing at each other like, you failure jungle, or you mid laner don't do anything. Sona in this case, she's just trying so hard to survive, but unfortunately for her, even though she dodges by just going to the right slightly, she's just got no chance in hell. Now, what's more depressing than that is that the Caitlyn goes to the lane and gets a little bit aggressive and then just sort of dies. We saw your teammate die. We saw her die. In fact, we are the ones who killed her. And so we know that she's not there and she's not going to be there for a while. You don't put yourself in a dangerous position when we know you're super vulnerable. So, yeah, it's this is sort of going really bad because the enemy team has just sort of stopped caring halfway through the game. It's sort of like they gave up in the first few minutes of the game. And here I feel super bad for the Fiora because I don't know if she was playing good or not, but it's like, I just get to bully her. That's so sad. The enemy team is just kind of like lost the will to live at this point, but they have to go through the game because it's not time to surrender yet. And even then, this is solo queue. People are allergic to surrendering games, even though it's kind of a lost cause. The enemy team you know, they could potentially win because it's still solo queue. But even if we weren't dominating as much as we were, my team comp is super, super strong in comparison to theirs. So they just couldn't, they probably wouldn't be able to stand a chance if the game was even just even. So they get destroyed. We're pushing to the towers, and we're going to retreat a little bit, you know, just heal back. And they haven't surrendered yet. Anyways, the enemy team is trying their very best to pick off someone. I'm waiting, you know, I'm waddling my ass there with my Pimp Daddy walk. And it's just a little sad. Either way, this might not be the best ultimate coming up, but it's just sort of like, it encompasses why they're not organized. Anyways, put himself in a weird, awkward position, and this ultimate is super late, but they still kind of fall for it and leave the Caitlyn to die, and then they just kind of decide, you know what, screw it, surrender. Whatever is wrong with the replay system, where it doesn't just sort of gravitate towards the Nexus after the victory screen, it's kind of funny. So I got to manually control it. Anyways, time for Mundo, and Mundo just recently got buffed. And Riot seems to not understand that if you buff Dr. Mundo, the Mundo's gonna walk all over you. Anyways, Dr. Mundo is one of those champions where he either sucks or he's super dominant, because he's kind of a stat check. If you can't kill him, he walks all over you. He destroys you. And if you can kill him, then he doesn't do anything. Anyways, Jax is going down bottom lane to kill somebody, which allows me to just steal his jungle. So I take his blue, Pantheon is super exposed, you know, he goes in for the kill against the Urgot, but he puts himself in a position where he just sort of dies. I exhausted him so he wouldn't be able to kill my teammate, and I just love the fact that in the chat, he pings my exhaust. I don't know if he was doing that to say that his exhaust is down, or, you know, what the fuck? Dr. Mundo has exhaust. But this is an extremely old school thing from like Season 1, Season 2. And even some of my teammates were saying, why do you have exhaust? Or what the fuck? Where's your flash? Or that kind of stuff. But, you know, you're Dr. Mundo. You don't honestly need flash all that much. Exhaust plays a lot more dividends than anything else. Hell, even Ghost. Anyways, you can already see I'm just kind of scouting around, trying to take wards. I'm playing a map control game. I'm trying to farm up as much as possible, although my farm isn't that considerably higher than the enemy Jax. And Jax does have 2 assists over to my 1 kill. So we're basically even. But once I get a few items, as I finally go back home to buy something, I'm able just to start, melting these jungles. I take the blue buff because the Jax seemingly left this open, and I take his Froggo. You can see at this point my clearing is accelerating at a pace that's astronomical. The enemy team gets the dragon though, which is kind of bad. I should have been keeping control of that, and anyways, goes to my Kruggies, and then this next situation is awkward because the Urgot is trying really hard to bait the Pantheon, and the Pantheon should have been like, I know something's up. But no, he goes in anyways, and he does kill the Urgot, but I'm going to kill him too, exhaust him, smite him, and just sort of beat him to death. He was trying really hard to avoid my Qs, but I'm not going to use my Q. I'm just going to hit you over the head with my mallet. Anyways, he's done for. I just leave the lane there. I just go back to farming, and you can see my CS is starting to go pretty damn high really quickly. Of course, I did get lane CS, so that is a little bit of cheating, but still though, it doesn't matter. So one of the fun things as Dr. Mundo, though, is to see how much gold you have whenever you go back and how many items you can buy. In a previous game, I actually only went back when I had like 4,000 gold in my pocket. Dr. Mundo, for, using old school terms, is like one of the most ultimate value junglers, where he basically triple dips into the gold value because the items you buy on him, just give him a lot of power in so many areas. Essentially, he doesn't really need to diversify his build. Anyways, I do get killed here, but you could see how much effort it took the enemy team to kill me. And kind of resonating the fact that they have no chance in hell of stopping me without great effort. My biggest threat from the enemy team is the Vayne, but I'm certain my teammates will pretty much grind her to pieces, hopefully. I'm hoping that Diana just picks her off or focuses on her so I can, just go in, melt the Pantheon, melt the Jax, just whatever. My Qs are going to melt them. And the enemy team honestly doesn't have much poking potential aside from Karma and Lux, while my team has a lot all around. I mean, Urgot's probably the weakest, but, we have a lot of poking, and our poking is extremely dangerous. So, anyways, they get another dragon, which again is another dark mark on me, considering I'm trying to be out of control. And my exhaust there should have gone on the Vayne, but I was completely, fat fingering that thing. Fortunately for me, though, my terrible mistake, it puts my team in a position to wipe them out. The enemy team, at least. Although they do get a few vengeful kills on my team, so it's not that much of a gain. The enemy team is still technically in the lead of kills, but you can see that the goal difference for my team is on our side. I'm farming up quite well. We're pushing a lot. In this case here, I'm able to take this tower really easily because it just sort of left it open. The Pantheon did rage quit though, so that's going to be one of the biggest marks of why we won, but you can mostly tell because it's a lot of the pressure just sort of mounted on him as Urgot proved himself to be really frustrating to deal with, and I just kept bullying him. Then I just gotta love this scene. This is one of the classic Dr. Mundo things. You can mess up your Qs as much as you want, but people really think that they're safe under their towers. I just run at this Lux, and it's like, she's so tried so hard. No, defend me tower. And now she just dies. And with that, the enemy team is just pretty much, giving up on life. Here we siege a bit, but you can see how much damage my Q does through shields and all that other good stuff. The enemy team gets a little close, and then just, spoiler alert, the Karma's going to die. But with that death, they're going to just kind of surrender. But, it was expected. They were a man down, and they had no chance against me to win. So, yay. Anyways, it's good to be back. You all know I was in a huge slump for the start of the year due to the surgery and all that stuff, but I'm feeling good again. I'll go back to my streaming and my uploading. And if you like this video, give it a like. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be back just uploading more videos again. Your favorite champions, my favorite champions, new kind of stuff. Also, I'd like to give thanks to Club GG for the sponsorship. If you would like to check them out, click the link in the description box below. I'll be going into detail about them more later, and thanks to them and the continued support from you guys and the continued support of some special people, I'm able to bounce back into this a lot better due to not having to worry so much about the financial burdens that the whole situation has cost me. So anyways, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the future videos I'll be uploading.